All right, what's going on, Sky Squad? What's going on? I'm gonna try to see if this video can work real quick so I can show y'all like what's been going on down here in Africa. All right, so this is a look at some of the township that we were in today. It's called Langa. I know I'm literally starting this video off like, how we got a weak connection? Hopefully this picks up in a minute, y'all. Let's see what it does.
All right, family.
What's going on, y'all? Okay, I can see y'all messages tonight. Okay.
More time,
All right, so just a little bit of a look at what we've been experiencing here. This is one of the townships. Can you guys hear me as the video is playing? I don't know. Hold on, let me see if I can hit play again. I'm trying to play the video, y'all.
Well, you are welcome over here. We make noise over here. We make noise now. Very interesting. Which maybe some of you may also, you have not asked that question, but that question might also come. Over here, you'll be lucky to see the police. We have the police station just where we park our vehicle, but who are the police is us. So we have what I call a very strong spirit of community. So it goes back when I'm saying, conducting this. This is not all me being like Mr. Jimmy. No. I'm part of the community. But now, let's face the reality, which I said earlier on, part of the experience. It's very
the oldest township here in South Africa.
And then could be also be emotional. I know you have nice photos, 1,000 pictures, okay, but there will be some of
I have videos and everything, but I kind of got to figure out if I really want to show that. So I did want to see you. You said you can't hear me now. Oh, the Wi-Fi is choppy. I'm sorry, y'all. The wind is like terrible here right now. Hold on. Let's see. You can hear me now? Let me know. Okay, cool. It's really windy here, y'all, so my bad. And it says the transmission is unstable. So we're gonna do what we can, see what it do. But I had some time, so I was like, let me just hop on live. Okay, you can hear me. I see a bunch of yeses, so hopefully y'all can. I'm in South Africa, so listen, we live trying to do whatever we can do to make it pop, all right? Okay, cool. As long as you can hear the video, that's really what matters to me at this point. Basically what I was saying about the video was that was one of the townships, and it's called Langa. It's the oldest township here in, I think, South Africa. Y'all, it was such an amazing experience. If you get a chance, it is what, 10:17 p.m. here. If you guys get a chance to ever come to South Africa, specifically Cape Town, make sure that you don't just visit like the fabulous locations. Make sure you go to places where the people who work in these fabulous places also live, because that will give you a better perspective on what everyday life here is actually like for people who look like us. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not to say that everybody lives in a township. That's not the case. But just know that there are people who live in townships that you will see working in some of these really nice establishments. And I think it's just nice to put a perspective and a place with their faces as well. And figure out ways that you can also help and give back to the community. I mean, just coming here is oftentimes doing a lot because you're giving back to the economy or hopefully to the people. But there's ways that you can specifically give back to the people, and I'll try my hardest to incorporate that into my content and what we can do and how we can help people here, because there are places where, they don't have running water, right? They don't have access to, electricity. And so to be able to walk into these places and see this, but also to see that people are still happy, people are still living. I mean, I think that that's amazing. Okay. I don't know if your comments are still coming through. Hopefully they are. Hopefully you guys can still hear me and see me clearly. I hope so. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on live real quick and talk about a couple of things. Let me know. Can y'all? I can't even tell. I mean, I can see the people in the room, so hopefully, as more people are coming, y'all can still hear me, and we'll just make it do what it do. And if you can't, then we try, right? Okay, so for those of you guys who didn't hear the beginning, I am here in Cape Town on a group trip. Y'all, these trips are life changing. I can't even tell y'all, like, it's only really day 2, and we are already like in the thick of it. Tomorrow, we are going to, we're going on a safari and we're going on a wine tour. So I'm super excited about that, but we have to be up at we have to leave here like 4:45, I think, in the morning. So I got my clothes out already. My bag is packed for tomorrow and all that good stuff like that. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the safari. I'm ready to get it in with the animals. I'm ready to be in the wild again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. But y'all, okay, so let's talk about Kandi and Todd first of all. Okay, let's get into that real quick because I just want to like touch base on that, right? Because y'all know, I know a lot of people come here for a little bit of tea, right? You come here for a little bit of tea. A lot of people come here for, well, they come here just because, right? But let's get into the Kandi and Todd, because last night we talked about it. I dropped a video last night. I was like literally up editing that video and I fell asleep while I was editing the video. Y'all, I was over here still trying to work, but it's what I love, so that's what I do. Okay, so the Kandi and Todd situation. Yesterday we told you that he was filing for primary custody of the kids, and his team had also insinuated that he had signed that prenuptial agreement, and he was pressured to do so. That's the indication that was given. And in my video, in case you missed it, I did talk about how I felt like, as much as the language in the statement about this was reading like, yes, we still hope for everything to be amicable. I mean, it no longer becomes amicable, I think, when one party is also requesting like full, like primary custody, when the initiating party was only requesting joint custody. So that's basically saying like, well, she not gonna have these kids. I'm gonna be the one with the kids for these next couple of months. She ain't gonna be nowhere near the kids because she got all this work to do and it's gonna take her out of town with all this work. So for those reasons, because we have evidence of her schedule, which I'm assuming is what is being used in this instance, because we have evidence of this schedule that is going to be so busy, I know for a fact she ain't going to be around these kids. That's kind of how it reads, and I'm just, listen, I think it's sad too, but I'm just here to tell you basically how it reads to the general public, right? So even if you say, yeah, we're trying our best to make it amicable, it's not going to feel amicable to the person that is receiving that, okay? It's just not. That's just a fact. So obviously both parents will want what's best for the kids, but at the end of the day, I'm just telling you how I think it's going to be received and how it's going to be perceived. Now, with regards to that prenuptial agreement, yes, if you go back to watch the scene, it was given, because I see the scene floating around for their, for them getting married. And there's, I don't know if it was, I think it was on their wedding special, about how, it was the day of the wedding, he still hadn't signed, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Because if you're not going to sign this prenup, we just going to have a big party, okay? Now, for some people, they feel like, well, he had ample time to get this thing situated. And some people feel like, oh, he was pressured. Well, they're actually using that episode, or at least that footage or Bravo footage in general, as a defense for Kandi. And here's how they're doing this. Let's shout out to the Jasmine brand for this. But apparently, they're going to be using Bravo footage as evidence in their ongoing divorce case, according to an amended petition filed on December 1st. So just in time for that news to drop. Thank you, BR Mon Jr. Is it Berman Jr.? B.R. Mon Jr. It was a scheme that Aunt Bertha told us about years ago, and Mama Joyce in ATL throwing a party, hollering she was right. Right. And he wants alimony, okay? If this prenup is not enforced, I think they're going to be wanting alimony and possibly more if the prenup is not enforced. Well, I know I would assume a whole lot more. Anyway, as Todd alleged that he was pressured to sign their prenup in 2014 without his lawyer present, Kandi is arguing that he had representation from a high-powered attorney before their marriage and disputes his claim that the agreement is invalid due to a lack of legal counsel. You know what's funny to me? Now, listen, I don't know about divorce. I hope, I don't wish for anybody to ever know about divorce. But it's funny because once that agreement is signed, it's kind of like you've got to just go with to a certain degree. If you've gone 14 years without this being a problem, it shouldn't be. I would almost argue that it shouldn't be a problem now because you signed it. At the end of the day, either you could have said, listen, I'm not going to sign it because I don't feel right about it. And I won't be pressured. I won't be moved, right? These are my finances too at stake, right? So you either have to just say, okay, this is what it is and I'm okay with it, because it almost feels like now that you are in retrospect 14 years later, you feel like you were pressured into marrying this person without having protections in place. Either those protections were not as worth it as the marriage, or, that's basically what it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? And I understand people want to dispute prenuptial agreements, but the time to dispute a prenuptial agreement is in the prenuptial phase. Pretty much, to be honest with you, right? Shamar says, I guess Natalie was right when she said Todd knew how to swerve, hence the alimony and child support money he's seeking. Oh, they was married for 14. They was together for 14 years, but only married 11 years. Thank you for that update, for that correction. But at the end of the day, it's like, here's the thing. Like when you sign the prenup, like if there's anything that you don't want, it's kind of like any negotiation, right? You have to iron out the terms of the negotiation beforehand, because otherwise, if you don't, then you've already put something in place. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless he could prove that he was under duress, under great strain, mental strain and stress and strife, then I don't understand. I don't know how you're going to prove that you still didn't willingly sign it, right? If he could prove that he was not in his right mental mind at that point, I don't know. I can think of instances where I have agreed to something and then realized what came with that agreement. And then I just was like, especially in this past year, I have definitely committed to some things that I really wasn't mentally ready for. And in that regard, I'm thankful to those individuals and those entities that I was able to express to them what it was. But it was not 11 years into the situation. It was literally within this year, within a few months, in some cases, a couple of weeks. So I do understand the idea of being under duress when you sign something, and not necessarily maybe having your right mind frame intact. But I would say that 11 years later, it's kind of hard to argue, because unless you've been feeling like this all this time, then were you unhappy all this time? Like, you just got to make it make sense to me in that regard. Mel Marcel says, no one begged him to sign. He said on camera that his lawyers told him not to sign, but he signed because he loved Kandi. And yes, I understand that love is at the center of what they were doing, but it kind of feels to me like now it's like You just gotta. When you marrying somebody with a whole lot of money and a whole lot of financial investments and things like that, you gotta understand that they're gonna do their best to protect their assets. And you gotta come into the situation ready to either make as much or protect yours equally as well. And that's really what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. And they're gonna be using that footage as evidence. So Kandi's lawyer pointed to their Bravo wedding special as the proof that the prenup was signed knowingly and with consent. Quote, the parties' journey to executing an enforceable prenuptial agreement was filmed and broadcast on Bravo television network with the knowledge and consent of both Kandi and Todd. The filing also highlights that Todd audibly announced that he was good to sign the document after speaking with his lawyer on and off camera. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of up in the air about like what's going to happen in that situation. You know, I did feel like the moment that I knew at some point he was going to make a statement. I just didn't know where the statement was going to go. And, you know, I think now is things are about to either get super insightful for us, or maybe one party or another will request that the other not be able to speak about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be a situation I could see that could happen, depending on the circumstances. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I mean, honestly, I really hope for the best for the two of them. If they ain't happy together and they want to move apart, then I say go ahead and do so. But I think that the preference would be that they work things out privately. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily feel like and I see your point. I can't see the name. I think it's Beth Ish. It might be Beth Isha, but I can't see it. But it says, well, at this point, he feels like he put in a lot of work, so he feels entitled to some compensation. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there is a large degree of what he feels like he is owed in this situation. I think that, but it all boils down to what the prenup makes clear, you know. Shamar says people can act very different in a divorce than they do in a marriage. Yup. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, y'all. In other news, I need to pull up some posts from our good girlfriend, Taria, from the What Else Is Going On podcast. All right, first things first. Taria, I got a shout out to you, homegirl, because she was down to the courthouse, y'all. Wendy and Eddie arrived at the courthouse looking good, apparently. I'm sure you guys may have seen some of these posts already. Make sure you guys are following Taria at the What Else Is Going On podcast. Here is another post straight from the courtroom. And apparently they did file to now have their cases tried together again. The judge granted it. They will no longer be tried separate and are back to being co-defendants back in court November the 19th. I need to do some digging and some research into why they chose to try to file separately and then together. I know that a husband and wife can't testify against each other in court. Is that correct? If my Law and Order SVU University degree has taught me anything, I think it's that. So, but I would also wonder if they're being tried separately, would that even, I mean, I wonder why they chose to switch in the first place to being tried separately and then switched back. Did their strategy change based on, remember that evidence that was dropped about a couple of weeks, maybe a week or two ago, where it was stated, what came out, something came out in the news maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago about the case that Wendy's team, it was something about their financials. It was something, what was it? Can somebody tell me? I wondered if it was just about time as well. But I wonder if they switched strategies based on what the defense felt, their defense lawyers or attorneys felt like was a new strategy that was going to be much better with them together, because the state, they felt like, had dropped that evidence that alleged evidence about Pam. It was Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy. That's when we learned about Pam, the alter ego, Pam. Y'all remember Pam? Well, Pam and Hennessy are sitting here in the courtroom, okay? And it was the 40 credit cards and debit cards and Pam's and not to be confused with Martin's Pam, but Pam Oliver, not to also be confused with the is she a sportscast journalist or something like that? Whoever she is, that Pam is not her. Okay, this Pam is she, and she is Pam. Okay, and so yes, Rich Hennessy is in the building. Okay, Rich Hennessy is in the building in full effect. It was that evidence that was dropped. So I wonder if anything switched, because their statement was kind of savage when they came out with that statement a few weeks ago. It wasn't even like that many weeks ago. It was like maybe a week or two ago. Anyway, that statement that they put out was super savage, that Wendy posted on her social media, that came from their attorneys about what they felt like the prosecution was trying to do in that situation. So I wonder now, okay, we switch strategies now because we're going to prove that they're doing everything in their power to right now start investigating this case. And their basis for the defense could be that there is some type of prejudice based on who they are as a couple, their stance on reality TV, and perhaps even their skin color. And then what I want to know also too is listen, this is me being nosy, but I wonder if this plays into anything, or if I'm the defense, would I be like, Tamar said on her podcast that one of the neighbors came up into her DMs and told her that they thought it was insurance fraud. Now, if I'm the defense, am I sending Tamar Judge a subpoena to find out who sent that information? Because if they're building a case that is saying that they're being framed in such a way to be positioned as these villains by the prosecutors, then would the defense not then subpoena Tamar Judge, who stated on her podcast that one of the alleged neighbors, slid into her DMs and told her that they thought it was insurance fraud too? Because then I would want to be, if I'm the defense attorney, I want to be trying to understand, well, why did you say that? What is there some type of prejudice that you have against them? What proof did you have to slide into somebody's DM like that, state that, and then for them to say it on their podcast? I'm just curious. I don't know I don't know nothing about nothing in terms of like this, in terms of the actual like law, you know what I'm saying? Other than what I'm supposed to do and not supposed to do, that's legal. But what I'm saying is, in my mind, that's what I would be doing. If that's my case, I'm now going to be thinking, what angles can I come from to win this case? Who else has been speaking about this that claims to know information and where did they get their information from? Where did this lady get her intel from? What was it based on? Because now you're going to entertainment news outlets and you're spreading this as gospel, allegedly. How did you come to this point of view? What proof did you have? Is there something that you saw? Okay. What evidence did you have to be walking around saying this? Because this could also, the defense could be saying also too, well, this could be leading into what is going on with the prosecution. I don't know. But I got a lot of questions about this whole situation. Taria also reported Eddie just grabbed her hand, probably to reassure her. She keeps looking around the courtroom. Makeup is flawless. I mean, Wendy has been pretty flawless in general. So, I mean, in terms of her looks. And Taria also posted, I'm really interested as to why Wendy and Eddie are going back to being co-defendants. Wasn't the whole reason that their initial date was pushed back to today was because they wanted to be separate. But now they want it together again. I mean, these are valid questions. Valid questions. Same questions I have. Shout out to Taria at the What Else Is Going On podcast. Y'all follow her on YouTube as well as on Instagram, as well as apparently on X, right? I'm not on the X, but I just have to shout out to everybody who is and who is collecting data in terms of what is going on with the court proceedings, all right? So make sure you guys are following her across those platforms, specifically also YouTube. Make sure you guys are showing her some love as well, all right? Now, yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with that whole situation, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. What else is going on? Well, there's a lot going on with Tamar, but you know, I am a little Tamar'd out. So I really don't have anything else to add. I feel like because we've talked about Tamar, I think for the past maybe 2 months, really 3 months, I should say, we've been talking about her and different situations that she has going on or doesn't have going on or doesn't remember. You know, I don't want to get into a space where people think, oh, you got something against Tamar. It's not really it. I just think that Tamar is super talented, and I just tend to wish that she would lead more with her music and her artistry and less with social media drama and things that don't pertain to the success of the music that she is capable of delivering. And that is what frustrates me more than anything. So for people who feel like I don't like her, I mean, you got it all wrong. I mean, I want more than anything else for the woman to succeed. But I think in order for her to do that, I think she also has to get out of her own way. And at the end of the day, there's nothing else that I can say or do from this perspective, because I don't think that my saying anything is going to do any good. And also too, you know, when we think about situations that we talk about, like the Wendy and Eddie of it all and the Kandi and Todd, you know, I feel like these are relatively sort of new and interesting situations, not really interesting to the point that I want them to be happening, because I don't, but they are indeed happening. And I think that these are situations that are slightly new for the people involved. And I think what we're experiencing with Tamar is that this is not new for Tamar. And that's unfortunate. And I don't want to be the person to beat a dead horse on this matter. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. And, you know, I just don't have anything else to give it, to be honest with you. I don't. So if I'm exhausted by it, I know a lot of you might be exhausted by it too, in terms of like why she kind of repeatedly puts herself in situations that she could easily not be in. You know, I just have to let it be what it is at this point. I mean, should she pop up on another reality TV show, or should something completely new and wild happen or something like that that is of considerable interest to the general public? I just don't feel like, again, I just don't have anything else to add. So there we have it with that. I felt like I would address it because we did talk quite a bit about what's really going on, you know, with her and the Mendices, the Yandy, what happened the night she, you know, she told us about that she felt like she almost died. Like, you know, those, when you say something like that in public, it's heart-wrenching, it's gut-wrenching. So people are absolutely going to be concerned and wonder and speculate. And I just feel like I'm just going to pray for her and just leave it at that. And that's it. Whatever she has got going on, I have to leave it there. The show is no longer on at this point. So that's the extent to which I feel like we need to discuss it. Trip where people are really starting to like really relax and really let their hair down. And y'all, this is the part where I feel like people's lives start kind of changing, because we start to hear the stories of like, you know, what brought people to the trip, or, you know, stuff that they had going on in their lives that led up to the trip. And y'all, these stories are the things that kind of like change my perspective on like, oh, yo, I really need to be invested in this travel space, because it really does help people change their lives, and we can make a difference, especially like after something that we did today in the township. It has my mind thinking about like, dang, what more can we do, right? So I'm gonna be thinking about that over the next couple of weeks, I think, and trying to figure that out. But like I said, we'll also have more of these kind of discussions where I'm kind of hopefully able to show you a little bit more of what we've done over here, and just hopefully maybe inspire y'all to kind of, you know, do some of your own traveling and figure out ways to kind of like get yourselves to some other places. Because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, for real, I feel 900% more relaxed when I travel. I don't feel like stressed. I feel very much like I literally feel my blood pressure has come all the way down. I literally feel like that. Tracy says, I saw you at the camper show. Oh, the Kempire show in DC, and you look much more handsome in person than you do on this live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's my boy right there. I feel like that's, he's awesome. He's an awesome guy, like in real life, not only on camera, but also just a great person in real life. And when you meet people that are just good people, you just like, those are people you hold on to. But yes, so yeah, y'all, we gotta do more traveling this year. I feel so much more at ease. I can't even tell you. And the weather here is beautiful, y'all. It was like probably 80 degrees today, but still like a little breezy, a little windy. The sky has been crystal clear blue. The air is just like fresh mountain air, fresh ocean mountain air. It's like palm trees here. It's like huge mountain, like, and you like, we're right on the ocean. So like the waves coming in. So we're right on the Indian Ocean on one side. We're right on the Atlantic Ocean on the other. So like they kind of like meet in the middle, but like the waves are kind of like, they're crazy. It's just beautiful here. So if you ever get a chance to come to Cape Town, or when I come back here and I do this all over again, y'all gotta come. You gotta come. And more than anything, and this is really meant for everybody, but definitely specifically for people who are of African descent in any way, shape, or form, you gotta find a way to come here. You gotta find a way to come to some part of Africa that you can connect with and really just engulf yourself in the culture that is your birthright. That's really that's really the best thing that I could tell you. The way that when we enter these townships and they're saying welcome home, do you understand what that feels like? And let me just be real with you. Just as sometimes walking around at home, like just as a Black man, and I know there are so many other people who can identify with this, whatever race, color, gender you may be. There's something to be said about a feeling of like being able to exhale. And it's because you just don't feel like someone is out to try to take your rights. Somebody is out to try to like just destroy who you are or your heritage or anything like that. You just kind of feel like like, I don't feel like I have to worry about that right now. And that's a different type of peace that I don't think that a lot of people have felt. And I don't think you realize how tense we are until you just get a break. I don't think so many of us realize how tense we are until we get that break. And I know that this goes beyond the tea that a lot of people come here for, and that's fine. If you got the tea, then you can actually, you got to go back and do what you got to do. But this is for somebody who needs to have this experience. Like, you just got to find a way to integrate some peace and acceptance for yourself in a world that sometimes feels like you're not accepted. And you don't always know that you're feeling that until you have a moment away. And then it also makes you appreciate what you have at home too, right? So I don't want that to be diminished in any of this. I don't want it to sound like, oh my God, I just got to get away from here. But it is a very interesting feeling. Like, I get a break from that, but I also get to realize how blessed I am, especially when you see what we saw today. So, yes. Latoya, I know I need a break and peace. And you just don't realize how badly you've been needing it. Your body needs it. Your mind needs it. I didn't even realize that my heart had not been racing since I've been here. I didn't even realize that until just like yesterday or today. I was like, dang, like, I really feel like I'm chilling. And I kind of looked around like, wait, where's the stress? I'm used to feeling like some level of stress and anxiety, and I just don't feel it. I mean, it could be because I'm technically on vacation, but I'm still kind of working. I'm still working. This is still work for me. So anyway, I just wanted to express that to y'all and hop online. It's easier for me to do like a live video because I don't have to edit it. Because like I said last night, I fell asleep editing that Kandi and Todd video, and I was like, you know what? I ain't got time. I ain't got time for it. So, Latoya says, I'm still grieving my mom and just made it to a year without her. And this is honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all, if you have experienced some type of loss in your life, whether it be a parent, a brother, a sister, or a loved one, or a friend, or a family member, whatever it may be, traveling is like really good medicine. I'm trying to tell you, whether you just go for a staycation outside of your city, or even in your city in a hotel room for a weekend, or whether you just, want to get out of the country, or just go to another state, just go to a beach. Take some time for yourself, because that time away gives you so much perspective, and it allows you to just be. And that's when you can really hear yourself. That's when you can really process your grief. And I did not know what that meant. When people tell me to process my grief, I thought it meant I'm gonna sit in my room and I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I ain't trying to do all that. I already been there. I don't have time for it, right? We still, life has to go on, but you do need some private time to just kind of like exist. And it don't have to be that you cry your eyes out. It could just be that you just are alone. You just get away. You just are not in your normal environment. Because sometimes our environments hold stress too, and we don't even realize it. So I only speak to y'all from experience about this because I've been going through it this year. And a lot of y'all know I have not been silent about it. And at the end of the day, I probably need to talk to somebody about it. I probably do, because I've been refusing to do that because I'm like, I don't really want to dive into all of this bad feelings I've been feeling. Like, I don't want to do all that, but at the end of the day, I probably need to. So, I will say, I feel like traveling is medicine. So if you get a chance to do so, definitely take up that experience. And I know that people are in, financial situations as well, but try to do as best you can to just at least find a way to like get away for a little bit. Like, if you don't listen to nothing else I say today, if you don't take nothing else I say away from this whole like chat, it's that just like, give yourself a break. Give yourself permission to take a couple of hours for you, because I know a lot of y'all don't do that. You may think, well, I'm watching my videos, I'm catching up on the tea, you know what I'm saying? And that's definitely an outlet, but it ain't nothing like just sitting alone somewhere beautiful, looking out the window at a hotel room at some water, or just looking out. And that's the thing, Latoya, we try to keep busy, but that really don't help. It don't help because it just pushes things down further. It really does. It just pushes things back down further. So you just end up back in the same cycle. And trust me, I know I've been in that cycle all year. And I don't tell y'all this to feel sorry for me. I tell you this because it's happening and I can't really get away from it. So it is what it is. And I also feel like this is the opportunity to let somebody else know, if you're going through it and you feeling like this, you're not alone. You're not alone. There are, I'm sure, tons of people out there who are experiencing the exact same thing, and we don't talk about it because we don't want to relive it. We don't want to relive it. We do not want to go back there to those feelings of when that feeling does come up, we just get busy again. And we just try to keep on working. We just try to, okay, I'm going to just keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. And that really is, y'all, it creates a cycle. And I'm just realizing it myself. It creates a dangerous cycle where you just work. And then the next thing you know, you're almost working to escape. And then you're tired, you're burnt out, you're restless. And you feel like there's no way out of this situation. There's no way out of this dark space. I know, trust me. Trust me, I know. And a lot of people don't talk about it because they feel like, well, don't nobody want to hear about these sad stories. And to that I say, I mean, yeah, you might be right. Maybe somebody don't want to hear about it. But I know that there's somebody out there who's going through it that needs to hear it. You know, as much as we want life to be sunshine and roses all the time, it's just not. And that's okay too, right? Because without these times, we wouldn't recognize the amazing times. So just do something for yourself. If nothing else, Winter Fall says therapy has helped me tremendously. And I'm probably gonna have to go and get into some therapy myself. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm definitely guilty of creating my own cycle of chaos, trying to escape feeling whatever I don't want to feel about this situation. And sometimes you feel like, am I healing out loud? Like, I don't know if this is like the right thing to be doing. And I don't feel like I'm letting anybody know a weakness as much as I'm letting people know, like, this is real. Like, this thing is real. It is super real. So anyway, I really didn't intend to go there, but like I said, it's happening, and I know it's happening to somebody else too. So, you know, don't feel like you're alone. That's really what I want to say. With that being said, y'all know, I mean, at some point, let me just be honest with y'all. For those of you guys who have been watching this channel for a long time, and I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but at some point in time, I'm going to transition from reality TV into something else. And, you know, as much as I love it, and I will probably always love it and watch it, right? You know, I think my mission as I move forward is a little bit bigger. And so we will just see where that takes us. I mean, we're going to still be rich Henny, but I feel like there's more that I'm supposed to be giving. So we're going to discover what that is. That's that. All right. So with that being said, y'all know I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad y'all stuck around and, you know, had this little chat down while I'm here down in Cape Town. The next time I go live, I'll try to figure out a way to incorporate some more photos and videos. I'll just have some prepared. I got to figure out that sound issue first, so I don't want to encounter that again. So I'll figure it out. But with that being said, y'all, I love y'all, and I will catch you in the next video.